guitar vibe, you might recognize that opening riff to Blue Oyster Cult's song, Don't Fear the Reaper. And I chose that song because Buck Dharma, the lead guitar player there, often played a headless guitar, a Steinberger, not unlike this one. So let me tell you a little bit about the Steinberger. This was invented by Ned Steinberger back in 1979 when he was commissioned to design a bass. And he decided to do something a little bit more radical because a lot of the guitar and bass designs really had not changed since the 50s with the work that Gibson and Fender were doing. So he went all the way back to the basics and chose to create what in his mind was a completely balanced instrument, both in terms of the weight and the sound. So the first thing he did is he decided to design without a headstock. Very radical design, and basically has the strings winding down at the bottom on the bridge. And of course he had to design a new type of bridge, and he chose to design a bridge that has locking strings at both ends. So a double balled string makes it very easy to snap and place the string and just adjust it very quickly with these micro tuners. You don't have to wrap it around the peg or anything along those lines. Then he chose to build the original basses and guitars out of a new substance. Rather than using wood, he chose to build them from graphite. And this created a very distinct sound, a more neutral sound. Sometimes people would call it a very cold sound, but different from the wood bodies of that era. And then he chose to use different class of pickups, using EMG pickups that were different from a lot of the standard pickups at the time. In the early 80s, he ventured into creating guitars with the L series of guitars that looks not unlike this one, maybe even a little bit more like a cricket bat or a broom. And these became quite popular with a lot of guitar players. Buck Dharma, as I mentioned, Geddy Lee from Rush, Lou Reed. You can see these guitars in some of the 80s movies and videos like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and so on. I like this guitar because it's both a distinctive style and kind of a unique sound to it. This particular model is the Steinberger Spirit. It's made out of wood, in this case a maple body, pretty thick body that contributes to a nice tone and a nice sustain. And it's got a maple neck with a rosewood fretboard. And I think it's got a lot of good appeal to it as a second guitar. Let's just see how it sounds with just some open chords here. That's with the bridge pickup. We can switch to the neck pickup, gives us a little bit of a warmer tone. And we can turn on a little bit of crunch here, beef it up just a little bit for maybe a kind of a couple notes in a solo. That's with the neck pickup. There's also, I've got a double humbucker and single coil here. So you can blend these. There's 5 different selectors with the switch. So if you really want to get a twangier sound like a Strat, you can do that. So it's a pretty versatile instrument. I like also the compact design, makes it suitable for travel. It's not the lightest travel guitar around, but it weighs around 6.5 pounds, so it's substantially lighter than a Les Paul and certainly most Stratocasters. That said, it's still a very durable guitar body. It's not fragile at all. It has fallen over on occasion, and it sustained those injuries without really any ill effects. Not that you want to knock your guitar around, but it does happen on occasion. This particular model I mentioned was made in Korea in the early 2000s, and the price on that was a pretty good deal. It was around $300. Nowadays, most of the Steinbergers are made in the USA, so they are a little bit more expensive, typically starting around $700 and then moving up, depending on the body shape and features that you're looking for. And Steinberger continues to make some very innovative guitars and basses with a trans-tremolo function that enables you to switch the tuning of the guitar on the fly while keeping everything completely in sync. That goes a little bit beyond my needs, but might be something interesting for others out there in the audience. So as I said, I think this is a very worthwhile guitar. as a second guitar, or a guitar if you want to travel a lot. It's not for everyone, but it is distinct, and people will ask you about this guitar when they see you playing it. You can also find some of these wooden ones from Korea on eBay on occasion, or in used music stores. So why don't we take it out with a little bit of a riff here with Sweet Jane from Lou Reed, since he was a big Steinberger fan for a while. Let's turn that up a little bit.